What's the difference between obedience and submission? Obedience is merely to obey what you're told to do, whether you agree or not. Amen. That's in the military. Honey, I don't care what the man said. You did it, or else. They reprogrammed your thinking so that you learn to obey, but it was only obedience. Submission's a spirit. It's a feeling of humility, of meekness, of desire to please someone besides yourself. I was in an outfit during the World War II, and we were in New Guinea, and I could whip anybody in the outfit, and I knew it. They all knew it. And I was sort of cocky. And Red and I are drinking beer one night, and he looked at me and he said, "You don't have guts enough to be obedient, to submit to me as the authority." And I looked at him, I said, "You better believe I do." I said, "I'll tell you what, you start tomorrow morning when we get up, and I'll do everything you tell me to do." We got up in the morning, and I mean, that guy started running me all over the place. And within 2 days, I was enjoying it.
Amen. You accepted it.
Something happened inside of this cocky character, and I submitted myself to Red, totally and completely. And I mean, the skipper noticed a difference in Molander. And about a month later, something like that, Red went back to the States. He was sent back home. And the skipper came down and said, "You are now in charge of this outfit." I'm asking you something right now. Do you believe that would have happened if I hadn't learned to submit? No. The first thing you got to learn before you'll ever be worth 2 cents in authority is to submit. To submit, not just obey. Submit. We got folks that don't even obey. Now, obedience with submission is to obey because you really want to, in order to please the one that's over you. Amen. Now, that's submission. I'll tell you what. It wouldn't have made any difference what Brother Reynolds said, my pastor. It wouldn't have made any difference what he told me to do. I wouldn't have given it 2 thoughts. I'd have just done it. I never knew anybody in my life I wanted to please as bad as I wanted to please my pastor. I just grabbed a hold of his coattail, stuck my head in the back of his back, and followed him wherever he went. And whatever he said, that was law as far as I was concerned. That was it. And because of that, I ended up pastoring that church. Why does the pastor preach against certain dress styles? Because they're immodest, or too sexy, or worldly, or because they will cause problems. Well, we're God's people. We're peculiar people. I had a preacher the other day, 2 or 3 preachers were talking. Yeah, it was when we were playing golf. I said, "It's unbelievable the way women dress now." I told them, yeah. When we grew up, those were used to feed babies. Now they're decorations. And they show as much as they can. Just as I'm telling you, I went through Claremont Mall. I couldn't believe my eyes. They don't care. They might as well be naked. Yeah. Now, that's all right for sinners.
Right, that's right.
I'm going to repeat that. That is all right for sinners. But if I'm to get you to heaven, it's sure not all right for you.
Amen, that's right.
Well, glory. You cover it up. All of it. Why does the pastor tell people how and when to date when they have this tremendous yen one for another? They just can't hardly stand to be away from them. Because when two people begin to have strong feelings for one another, and one is male and one is female, they seem to lose whatever good sense they once had. They need someone to control them so they won't sin.
That's right. Amen.
There was a sister. I don't know if she's even alive now. She pastored a big church. She was one of ours, UPC. She pastored, and she traveled all over to the churches doing teaching. She was awesome. And in come a Trinity preacher to her church. And I mean, the next thing you know, she's at a camp meeting and they're almost sitting in each other's laps. And they're all wrapped up. And I thought, my God, in heaven above, somebody that actually had the position that she had reached the place that she had, and here comes a man and she loses every brain she ever owned.
That's right. Wow.
And girls, let me tell you, when that feeling comes, there will not be one brain left in this thing here. You're going to need me. That's right. Mom and the pastor.
That's right. That's right.
You need to listen to Mom and the pastor. What will happen to those that go against the counsel of the pastor, whether in clothing or manner of life? What will happen? Anyone that goes against the pastor has just chosen to become their own pastor. Not my choice. That's your choice. Well, glory. I'm going to do it my way. Well, do it your way. Roger?
I know a family, Pastor.
Hang on. He's got you a mic. I want to get you.
I know a family, and I heard them that used to say, you know what, you don't need to tell a pastor everything where you're going. And this was to other churches. And that family's not here now.
That's right. They were getting food in other churches that they didn't need to be eating. They got in the wrong field. In the wrong field. And I said, well, I am an adult. I know how to buy my own car. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Why in the world do I have to have a pastor? Because you know too much. Or at least you think you do. Which leaves them without a pastor or anyone to watch their soul. David said at one time, no man careth for my soul. What a horrible place to be. That's what my wife felt when we moved from National City out from under Pastor Reynolds to go up into Redding and help build a church in Anderson. And that's just how my wife felt. No one careth for my soul. And I just had a call just from somebody that I used to pastor. And her husband said, we're going back east. And he took her back to Missouri. Well, he died several years ago. But things are happening right now in the church she's in, and she does not feel like she has a pastor. And My wife made a pillowcase for her, or was it the blanket?
Blanket and
Well,
pillow.
blanket, pillowcase. And the note was signed from Pastor and Sister Molander.